What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is ConsoleChronicles. Thanks so much for checking out the video, and I hope you guys do enjoy yours today. In the background today, guys, you guys are going to be watching a Rust Hardpoint gameplay on Modern Warfare. It is nothing special. It is actually a pretty mediocre gameplay. I just needed something to show you while I was talking, and I don't even think I had a good scoreline, so I apologize for the piss poor performance on that, but hopefully the next video will have something good. Maybe I'll do an Apex video, or hopefully this Warzone thing will drop pretty soon so I can get some of that gameplay for that. But in this video today, what I want to talk to you guys about is a topic that I didn't really think I was ever going to get into, mainly because of personal reasons. I didn't want to really hurt myself by talking about this, not just like emotionally, but I mean more like professionally. But now I think we're at the point where I can talk about it. I feel comfortable enough talking about it. And what I'm saying in particular, if you couldn't tell by the title, was how and why I left GameStop. Now, if you guys don't know, if you haven't been on this channel long enough, I worked at GameStop for about 5 years. I left in March of 2018, so not too long ago. It's almost 2 years. And I have a lot of stories I could tell. I even had a GameStop stories series on this channel, and I don't think I ever even fully completed it. I think I got like 3 or 4 episodes in, then I just stopped. Maybe I'll restart that and just kind of tell my stories again. but yeah, I wanted to talk about why I left and how I left, and just kind of explain it to you guys. There's a few reasons why this kind of been brought up. The first reason is I found out my very first store had closed. So I'll tell you guys what happened with that, but also give kind of like a history for me. And the second reason is because I've heard about this program that GameStop's doing. It's called Legacy Delete, and I kind of want to give my little input on it, kind of how it ties into what would have happened to me if I was still there to this day, and just kind of, share my thoughts on it. But in this video, like I said, it's just going to be my recanting of how I felt at the time. I understand this is a retail job. I'm on to way better things now. It's just how I was feeling at the time. Every retail job has its problems. You got corporate, upper management, and just even other coworkers. You're gonna have problems with people. That's anywhere. It's not just GameStop. So I'm just saying this disclaimer now, so I don't want people in the comments saying, "Oh, it's GameStop, man. Why are you surprised? Oh, it's retail. I can do it at Kroger, and it's still the same thing." So I just want to make that clear. Anyway, so why I left? I left in 2018, March of 2018 to be exact. It was at the end of the month, so almost 2 years ago. I left because I was burnt out. I left mainly simply because of the fact that I was done with the company. I was done with the direction that they were going in, and I kind of just wanted to stop. And in my situation, I was an assistant store leader. I, was at the company for 5 years, so I've been around for a while. I had seen people come and go. And I never thought it would be my time, because I still had a fondness for the company, or I always want to think that I would have moved up, or whatever the case may have you. So that's the reason. I just got burnt out. So my first store, like I said, recently has just closed. I worked at that store for about 3 years, from 2013 to about 2016. I worked at that store. And recently, a matter of a week ago, actually, it just closed down. Not for any financial reasons, because I know there are a lot of people thinking GameStop's just going to go under and going to close all the stores, which is happening, don't get me wrong. But this store in particular, this isn't the situation. It was actually something with the landlord. I won't get into specific detail on that. That's actually a good topic for a video. I might do a video on that. But I've had interactions with this guy. It's actually a group of people, but only one of them lives here in Georgia, where my store is, that I had any real interactions with. So I can only say my experiences with him weren't really that positive or really that negative either. It was kind of neutral. It's his business. He has to see how he wants to run it, and he can run it how he sees fit, or how they see fit. So I worked at that store, like I said, for 3 years, and then I moved to my second store. I worked at that store for about a year, and I was not happy at that store at all. I was at the point where it was May of 2017. I was ready to quit. I was having my 2-week notice ready. I had just graduated with my bachelor's degree about 6 months prior, so I was ready. I was done. I was done putting it off. It was time to go. But one of the human resources guy, who I guess he liked me or maybe he felt sorry for me, wanted to help me out, and he said, look, I know you're not happy here. I know so-and-so, by so-and-so I mean the district leader, wasn't really kind of helping you out. Why don't we just move you to a different store? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, all right, well, I'm done, man. I don't really want to be here anymore, but if it makes me a little bit more relaxed before I leave, sure, why not? I'll turn my 2 weeks in there for all I care. Because I knew the manager that at the store, I liked him really well. Hell, maybe he could have made me stay, you know, who knows. So I said, okay, yeah, let's do it. I moved to the other store, and I found out that manager in particular was going to be moved to a different store, and his assistant was going to be my new manager. This guy is literally the quintessential salesman. That car salesman that can sell anything. That's this guy. And to this day, he and I are still really great friends. I'm not knocking him for anything. But when I got to that store, it was very evident what he was strong in, which was selling, which is what GameStop wanted. And in my opinion, he was the best salesman that company would have and will ever have. And he got severely underpaid for it. And I was the operations guy. So that was kind of my role. And at that point in the company, they were trying to shift away from operations and focus just solely on customers. But the problem is that if you don't do them, it adds up and then it ends up hurting you. So I would just usually just take the bullet and just do everything. Not because I really wanted to, but nor I was more comfortable doing it than helping customers. But I just felt like I'm the only one that's going to do it right and be able to help customers at the same time, because I was the most efficient. I could do it. I could do it super quick, and I could help people very efficiently, and it was just working for me. Everyone else was just, they'll either sell or do nothing. So yeah. That was my role at my third store mainly, and I was ready to work another holiday. This would have been my 6th holiday season, and I should have taken a vacation before the holidays, but I didn't. Mainly just because my manager, like I said, he was still green. He was only with the company at that point maybe about a year, so he wasn't prepared by himself to do a lot of the preparation for a holiday season. So I said, all right, I'll take my vacation after the blackout period. The blackout period is the period where employees just can't use their vacation time, which is just the holiday season. So it's from like October till mid-January, early February. So we worked the holiday. It was a normal holiday. Nothing crazy happened. Some situations, they happen all the time. But the end of it, which was about February, I was burnt out. I was done. I said, I'm over this job. I'm ready to go. And I told my manager, I'm like, look, man, I know you're tired. I know you need a vacation as well, but I need to take mine first. I cannot be here for another day because I really just think I'm just going to straight up quit. And he said, yeah, take your vacation, relax, recharge, and then I'll take mine later. I'm like, cool. So I decided to take a vacation. Me and my buddy Dylan, we went to California. Who you've seen on the channel, Vendetta. We went to California to visit my buddy Mike, who you've also seen on the channel, M Camera. We went and visited him out in Cali, had a great time. Just overall just chilled out, and at that time we were playing Fortnite really heavy, so we just played Fortnite all together and then just went out to the bars afterwards. but yeah, no, we had a great time, and then when I came back, I was recharged, I was ready, and I was just about to just get back into work. Now, I had mentioned earlier that I was the operations guy, so when it came to a marketing kit or when it came to inbound distro or outbound RSPs, I was the one that did all of it. Not just because, I was the only one that could do all of it, but because no one else would really do it or do it right. So I told my manager, I said, look, this is a marketing Sunday. So I'm coming back on Monday, the day after. You got the outbound RSPs, you have the inbound distro from the Friday, and we were a 50-50 store, so we got a lot of distro, because what 50-50 means is you're half games, half collectibles, which a lot of the stores are nowadays, but this was on a larger scale. So I told him, like, look, dude, if all that stuff is still here, all the counts and everything isn't done, if none of that stuff is done by the time I get back, because I was opening, I'm going to call you, you're going to come in, and I'm going to leave. Because I am not going to come in to all that hell and be expected to do that all when it should not be my responsibility at that point. You know, if it was on that Sunday, that's a different story, but I'm coming back on Monday. And he's like, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I'll get it all done. Now, not to knock him for anything. Like I said, he's a great salesman. And they were very busy that weekend. So he had a legitimate excuse. Because when I came back, it wasn't done. And I was so close to calling him and leaving, but I said, you know, he's exhausted. He hasn't had a vacation. I just got back from vacation. I'm not going to do that to him. So I said, all right, fine. I will do it all. And in a matter of 2 hours, I did everything. Everything. To the point where my district leader called me. No, we had no customers in the store. My district leader called me and said, how was your vacation? You know, did they get the stuff done? And I didn't want to protect them. I said, nope, they didn't do anything. To their credit, they were very busy with customers, but when it came down to everything else, the operations, they did nothing. And so she was just kind of like, well, I got to talk to them about it. At that point, I had made up my mind. I was done. I was talking to Dylan and Mike and even Will, Pulse. I was talking to him as well. I just said, look, dudes, look, guys, I can't do this anymore. And they're all telling me the same thing. Like, you got to do what's better for you. You know, you got to do what makes you happy, you know, all that stuff. So my manager had 2 days off. He came back in on that Wednesday, and I told him, I felt comfortable telling him because, like I said, we were really good friends. And he was also, at that point, 1.5 years into the company, he was kind of burnt out himself. He was kind of done. So I felt comfortable telling him, look, man, I can't do this anymore. You're probably going to have my 2-week notice on Saturday. And he said, okay, you know, just think it over, and I'll see you on Saturday about it. I'm like, cool. So Saturday rolls around. I thought about it really heavily, and I ended up doing it. I ended up putting my 2 weeks in. I worked my last 2 weeks. I left on good terms. I mean, as far as my opinion goes, left on good terms with everyone. I ended up, anytime I went back there for when they were still employed by the company, all those people that I used to work with, whether they're upper management or human resources, whatever, they all, said, oh, hi, how are you doing? And we had, some small talk and all that. And now this kind of leads into the second part of this, which was the whole elite delete, whatever, legacy delete thing. If I was still with the company to this day, I would be one of the people getting the axe, without a shadow of a doubt. Not because I did shady stuff, but because if this policy is correct, anyone who's been there for 5+ years or makes $16+ an hour is subject to being investigated, and for any little thing, they could terminate you. Like, I've heard time card fraud. And I think this happened to someone that I know. I don't know for 100% sure, but I think this happened to someone I know, where they manipulated a time card and they said that they were there when they really weren't, or they weren't there when they really were, or whatever. And that person got terminated for it. That happens all the time because you're not allowed to go over 40 hours. And when it came down to it, you either followed the law or you followed their policy. And I say it that way because I really think it was that much of a distinction. If you worked over 40, you put that down to only 40 hours and you just don't say anything about it. That's how it always was. I mean, for me, I never had to deal with it. I had to deal with like 5 minutes over, but I never had to deal with like 30 minutes or an hour. That's totally different story. So I've heard people, like, because of a discount they gave like 2 years ago, they got fired for it. It literally could be anything. I give discounts all the time. I give discounts to people, like, for a game being broken or a controller box being bent or whatever, and they were like, hey, can you do something about this? Like, yeah, it's a customer service situation. You have to take care of it. And so I know for a fact I'd be one of those people. And I don't knock the company for anything. When I got hired on in 2013, they were at the highest they ever were. They were at their peak. It was right when the Xbox One and PS4 came out, or were about to come out when I got hired, about like 2-3 months prior. When they came out, I got hired. And they were, they're at their top. And to see them on this downward spiral, however you say that word, it's just kind of sad. I've met a lot of amazing people working there. One of my best friends to this day, Will, Pulse, I would not have met him if I did not work with him at GameStop. Guys, you know, on the channel, if you guys followed him, the Mr. Hunt Noobs, Larry, I met him because he was a customer that shopped with me at GameStop. Without that, I never would have met him. He's one of my good friends. My friend Jordan, Isaiah, all of them. Like, without this company, I never would have met them. So I don't knock that for anything. Some of my old managers, like my manager Jen, like I'm still friends with her to this day. We hang out regularly. It's just like, so I can't get mad at the company for what they did, but the direction that they went, and if this whole thing with this legacy delete thing is true, it's just very sad, because when this company goes out of business, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when they go out of business, it's gonna suck, because people are gonna remember them like the way, not the way they remember Toys R Us, all the nostalgia. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, remember when I went into GameStop and they only gave me 3 cents for all my games? That's what it's gonna end up being. And it's sad, because I had a lot of good memories, a lot of good times when I worked there, and it's just gonna be gone. So yeah, guys, that's why I left the company. That's kind of like how I'm feeling about the company now. It's kind of sad that it's going to be ending, but at the same time, that company needs to just die already. The people that are in charge of it now have a terrible sense of direction when it comes to this company. And if this whole legacy delete thing is true, I honestly think it's borderline illegal. It just really shows how desperate they are. If they're that desperate for $20 million, because that's the amount of savings they think they can save from it, that just shows. For us, 20 million is a lot of money for the average person. For a company like that, 20 million is chump change. So if they're that desperate for money and their investors are selling all their stock, it just shows a lot of what's going on. So yeah, guys, that's why I left. That's how I feel about the company now. Like I said, I'm expecting the worst pretty soon for everyone else. I still have friends that work there, and I really hope that they aren't going to get the axe, but, you know, I hope they quit and they move on to better things, but, you know, we'll see what happens. But anyways, guys, hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you guys did, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, comment below if you guys had an experience at GameStop, whether you were an employee or a customer, positive or negative. If you want to talk about it in the comments below, I'm very curious to hear what you have to say. I think I might restart the GameStop series idea, the Storytime series idea. Maybe do some, you know, fun stories on that. Maybe I'll get some former employees to come on and talk with me on it. I mean, it's all fair game. I mean, I don't work for them anymore. It's not like they can, not like they can fire me. So, but anyways, guys, like I said, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment below. And I will talk to you guys in a later video. Until then, guys, take it easy. All right, bye, guys.